If there was a second name that was important besides Washington and the founding of our country, the other representatives of our government at the time would have picked the atlas of our independence, as they called John Adams. It was John Adams, the rabble-rouser, that would have been, along with his cousin Sam, that led the Tea Party, among the first to be hung, because he was constantly not letting the Americans forget about what the British were doing to them in raising taxes and doing it without representation of people here in America. John Adams was a rabble-rouser. He was hated and despised, to use his own words, and consequently he was very powerful, and he chose other men to do his bidding because he knew that if his name were used, things wouldn't get passed. But behind the scenes, he was the one that they called the atlas of our independence. And an atlas, as you know, is a book before the computerized GPS to get us to where we want to be, to win our independence from England in this case. The largest handwriting I've seen of any president of the United States while he was in office is John Adams. I have a document where the John Adams is this big on the document. The smallest handwriting of any president of the United States or ex-president when he's out of office is John Adams. And this one has a very tiny signature on it. This is written after the presidency. It might be interesting to note that it was John Adams, as head of the Military Affairs Committee of the Continental Congress, that picked George Washington to lead the troops because his friend John Hancock, the President of Congress, wanted to lead the troops, and he thought that would be a disaster. And even though he was a friend of Hancock's, he knew that the leader of the troops needed to come from the large middle colony in the South, Virginia, because these 13 warring colonies needed to be pulled together for the cause. And his brilliance led to George Washington being picked. Also, when it came to writing the Declaration of Independence, there was no better writer in the colonies than John Adams. You never knew what some of the founding fathers were really saying in their letters, but Adams didn't have that problem. He was the Harry Truman of his day. Whatever he wrote, he meant, and it stuck, and it was described well. But he chose another Virginian, Thomas Jefferson, who hardly said one word in the Congress to write the Declaration of Independence. And then, of course, he and Ben Franklin made changes to it in the Congress itself. But in this letter, he's writing Dr. Benjamin Rush, the Surgeon General during the American Revolution, fellow signer of the Declaration of Independence, the doctor from Philadelphia, and he thanks him for sending the Aurora, which was a publication of the day. This date is dated 21 January 1810, and he the beginning of the letter begins to Rush with "learned, ingenious, benevolent, beneficent old friend of 1774." See, to them, 1774, when they first conducted the Continental Congress, was more important and significant than 1776. "Thanks for the light and truth, as I used to call the Aurora, which you send me. You may descend in a calm, but I have lived for 50 years in a storm and shall certainly die in one." That's how he starts his letter. Okay. And this is how he ends it. People were questioning the founding fathers on their Christian beliefs. He wanted to set that to rest. "The Christian religion, as I understand it, is the brightness of the glory and the express portrait of the character of the eternal, self-existent, independent, benevolent, all-powerful, and all-merciful Creator, Preserver, and Father of the universe. The first good, first perfect, and first fair. It will last as long as the world. Neither savage nor civilized man without a revelation could ever have discovered or invented it. Ask me not then whether I am a Catholic or Protestant, Calvinist or Armenian. As far as they are Christians, I wish to be a fellow disciple with them all."